10 August 2020, and I'm joined by Mr. Tinashe Jonas from Zimbabwe. How are you, sir?
As usual, it's a pleasure to be on Zimbabwe Media and an honor.
Thank you very much. Today is Heroes Day in Zimbabwe. What do you think? Are the heroes happy or turning in their graves about what is happening in Zimbabwe?
Thank you. I think I will start by happy. They are happy because we are still outside of imperial forces. We are self-governing as Black people, as Black Zimbabweans, and we took charge of the land, which was the motivation behind the war of liberation. So, we are owning our own assets, we are owning our narratives, we are owning our culture, our languages. So in that regard, and we run the economy, they are happy. And they are not happy because the word war veteran is now used for self-entitlement. The word war veteran is now misused as capacity. When someone is a war vet, every door opens. The person who has got skills and abilities is not considered for now in our country for so long, since 1980. The preference is a Mujiba, it's a Chimbuhilo. To me, war collaborators, war veterans are people who are like fathers of the nation, who must make their kids play, who must make their kids participate, enjoy, and have pride in being Zimbabwean.
Okay, what about the levels of hunger, unemployment, and the collapse of infrastructure in Zimbabwe? Was this something that the people went to war thought would happen after independence?
Basically, they never anticipated that, but to me, that was bound to happen because just after the war, everyone who went into offices was a fighter, was a guerrilla fighter. What is a guerrilla fighter? If someone who knows how to fight while he's from hiding. So the administration, the first and the second administration, is then composed and embedded by fighters, by militants, by military units. So they are good at power retention, and the attention is power retention and identifying and diffusing power threat. There is now need of a paradigm shift from being militants, from being fighters, into being builders and economists and embracing every Zimbabwean, than seeing someone who was a sellout, someone who ran away from the war of liberation, someone who is not part of Chinu, someone who is who must be flushed out. They must now be kind, they must be loving, they must now focus on development than in power games and politics.
Okay. Do you think a young person right now in Zimbabwe has hope?
Yeah, they must have hope, because the moment you become hopeless, it means you can even commit suicide. You kill yourself. They must have hope, but this hope now is the ZANU-PF responsibility now, together with the people of Zimbabwe, to make the hope real. Because, as I say, the ZANU-PF administration is more inclined in playing politics than playing, and they are also not. They are not also having a big tent where they are welcoming everyone without selection of loyalty, without selection that you went to war, without selection of party membership. Their tent, the ZANU-PF tent, is not really that open. They look. So, and they must also allow young people who are ambitious. Because remember, ZANU-PF has the set standards for us, standards for war, standards for governance. There's nothing bad if I look at Comrade Robert Mugabe or Comrade ED, and then I also want to be a president. There's nothing if I look at Comrade Mutuli Ngube as a minister, and I also wish to be a minister. They mustn't kill ambitions. They must know that they've set some standards. We now know a president as a black person. We now know a minister as a black person. We now know a mayor, a councillor as a black person. There's nothing wrong when people within ZANU-PF or outside ZANU-PF, young people, they also become ambitious. They must actually culture and nourish and motivate the spirit of ambition in young people.
Okay. But Mr. Jonas, we have seen this week the amount of pressure from outside Zimbabwe, building on the government of Idi Mnangagwa, accused of so many things. Do you think the external world sees Zimbabwe as a country that is improved after independence?
Thank you so much. Zimbabwe has failed dismally, number one, with regards to crafting laws that make the security sector, the army, the CIO, to relax, and then the country must be governed by laws. For example, in the US, there's what they call the Logan Law, to make sure that no one does meetings with anyone. Because in Zimbabwe, anyone can do meetings even to overthrow the government, to do anything, number one. Number two, the brand Zimbabwe, our government is not focusing on building and maintaining and the brand positioning, brand promotion, brand. I mean, the brand Zimbabwe has been neglected. It has been taken to the speeches of the ministers and the speeches of the president. There must be under the Ministry of Information, there must be departments. Number one, departments like Brand Zimbabwe, to sell Zimbabwe. And also maybe it can be under Ministry of Tourism. The Ministry of Tourism must be given all the resources necessary to market our country with a good image, so that it becomes an attracting destination for investors. And also, instead of crafting laws for governance to run the country on constitutionalism, our government is neglecting that end of parliament and the courts to run the country. They're ending up forced to use the military, the police, the CIO onto the citizens. Yet that was supposed to be the work of the parliament and the judiciary to govern. They are now forced to react with the balanced force, you know. And the other thing, our politics has failed dismally, because surely we need not more than 5 political parties in Zimbabwe. Now we have got more than 200 political parties. The parliament of Zimbabwe must pass a law that a political party to exist, it must at least have a certain number of councillors, certain number of members of parliament or senators. Surely we can't have political parties which don't have a councillor after contesting an MP. We need not more than 5 political parties, so that we sanitize the politics. Our politics is bad because everyone is a president of a certain political party, and that is further dividing us. That's why we are more divided through politics, because in a family of 10, it's not a surprise that everyone belongs to a different political party, because the political parties in Zimbabwe have got a tendency to be more than the citizens. So we need to have laws in Zimbabwe that sanitize the governance, that sanitize the loyalty, the patriotism. I mean, people, there must be fostering of loyalty and sovereignty.
Okay. But I've seen that most of the negative things that are being said about Zimbabwe, it's coming from Zimbabweans. If you look at all the interviews that were held in South Africa last week, there are more than 50.
Yes.
And most of the Zimbabweans who are speaking there, they don't have anything good to say about what's happening in the country. How can that be changed?
Okay. Oh, as we said, all needs, what is governance? Governance is defined by the use of laws, which is the parliament, the judiciary, and our traditional chiefs and the village head, all those, that is governance. But as I said, there are so many laws, because Nelson Chamisa and opposition and stuff, we are very proud to talk, to spread the word of hate, the word of denigrating our country and damaging Brand Zimbabwe. And the same people are proud to be members of ZEC and to contest elections to govern a country that they are scaring investors, that they are attracting sanctions to. We need laws. We need laws in Zimbabwe. We don't need the army. We don't need the tear gas. We don't need the CIO. We don't need the CIO must now be invested into penetrating institutions, especially to fight corruption. The CIO must be used to investigate and infiltrate government institutions and the private sectors to flush out corruption. I mean, that's, we need to use our government employees in a positive, unifying and progressive, not to fight opposition. Opposition must be dealt with laws, because we don't want an opposition leader who is proud to broadcast the negatives about our country. You don't see that happening in America. You don't see that happening in Germany. I mean, we need laws which must make people proudly Zimbabwean, which must make our domestic policy to be sound, so that it can generate into a good foreign policy.
Okay, so Mr. Jonas, I think we should bring this topic and this discussion to an end. You said Brand Zimbabwe has been damaged, and on both sides, on the government side and on the opposition side, there are things that they need to do to bring Brand Zimbabwe back to where it was. What about the citizens? What do we do as citizens when the situation is the way it is now?
Number one, the citizens must change mindset. For now, we have got a loser's mind that we blame the economy, the politics, everything. We need a winner's mentality. Winners, they take responsibility. The same country, the same environment, the same politics, it has produced the people like Strive Masiwa, who is now a billionaire. And Masiwa is from Zimbabwe. So we, as citizens, now we need to change, to take responsibility that no matter a country is at war, a winner is a person who can sell guns. If there's war, sell guns. So there's no situation where there's no opportunities. So we need that. Number two, as citizens, we need to forget about politics now. We need to talk about development and unity. If you are operating a saloon and you are MDC and the client is ZANU-PF, would you chase him away? No. So why are we now divided over politics? Let's be united over economy and development. And then for government, ZANU-PF, they need now to transform themselves from traditional economy like mining and whatsoever. We need to be innovative. We need to go into technology. We need to manufacture cell phones. We need to manufacture drones. We need innovation now in our economy. I mean, you can't boost the economy when we are not making simple things. We are importing everything. We have got companies like Econet, for example. You find that probably most of their components are imported from elsewhere. We can't make the fiber. We can't make the what. So how can we boost the economy? We should run away from the traditional. Not everyone can be a farmer, tobacco farmer. We need to be innovative. The government must reward and invest in innovation, technology, and infrastructure development. Under the Ministry of Finance, we need serious departments like infrastructure, like innovation. We need that. We can't always talk about chicken rearing, cattle ranching. We need to modernize the politics. We need to modernize our economy. We need to modernize, and our foreign policy is failing because the government is not having a spinning department that is marketing the country and marketing the image of the country.
Okay, I think one interesting thing you said was that we are too focused on politics. Yeah. How do we turn our people from focusing so much on politics and turn their attention to business?
Number one, we need a law to reduce our political parties to 5 or less. Because if everyone is starting a party, it means we are so much divided. Number two, ZANU-PF must transform. They need to reward capacity more than loyalty. Then secondly, we need technology. We have got so many graduates in Zimbabwe of technology, but they can't even start creating a cell phone app to tell people which garage is putting fuel. Because the government is focusing on traditional economy, mining, agriculture. We've got countries like Singapore. They don't have resources, but they're very rich because you need to modernize your economy. Our economy is too traditional.
Right, Mr. Jonasi. I think this is one of the most important discussions that we've ever had. And I'm sure it is going to become even more clearer as we move towards the end of the year. You can see that there's a lot of tension in the country, even though we're in lockdown, political tension. Do you think this is normal?
It's not normal. That's why I say we are fighting for power. And the government is fighting to detect and to neutralize power threats, when it's ZANU-PF's responsibility now to focus on people, on economy and development, and create a big tent that anyone can come. We don't need to meet on transitional authority. We don't need to meet on government of national unity. Even our president must be seen to be visiting even other opposition leaders. For example, when Mr. Nelson Chamisa, since his mother passed on, I was expecting the president to be there, ZANU-PF ministers to be there. That's what we need now. I am challenging ZANU-PF now to take the baton. They must be seen to be visiting. They must be seen to be engaging without any structured discussion or whatsoever. They are so much in offices. They are so much in their houses. They must go around.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Tinashe Jonas. This has been a very interesting discussion for this week, and I hope that we have another chance to talk again about the envoys that have been sent to Zimbabwe by the South African president before the end of the week. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
Zimbabweans' national interest, national security must come first before your political party, before your greedy intentions, before your corrupt tendencies. Love, unity, one nation, one heart, Zimbabwe for us all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jonas. We'll talk again very, very soon.
Thank you for the platform. It's an honor.